Alrighty guys, what's going on everybody? Good morning. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day so far. We do got ourselves a lot of updates regarding this system. Like I said, everybody, happy Wednesday. Hope everyone is doing alright. Let's go ahead and jump right on into it, my friends. But anyways, let's see what we got here for today. We have Daddy Crab, we have JT Doge, we have Tabletop, Black Label, Kingster, we have Eyes, we have, let's see here, and Angela, I'm so sorry, I'm not good with names. We got Rich, we have Christy, Black Label. What's up, everybody? Of course, everybody else who's not chatting and just hanging out with us. But alrighty, everybody. So we got ourselves some updates for you on the storm here. We are seeing, some obviously new development with the storm here. Now, here's the thing, y'all. So as we approach tomorrow afternoon, by the way, tomorrow's the day of landfall. As we approach tomorrow afternoon, the latest cone from the Hurricane Center has us here at sustained winds of 120 miles an hour, with gusts getting up to 150. Now, that's a good time before landfall. There might be a little bit of strengthening in between as well, overall. So that's kind of what I'm a little concerned about. And the thing about 120 mile an hour sustained is that's only 10 short. That's only a 10 short from a Category 4. So we are, we're going to be fairly close. Like I said beforehand, I've been saying over the last little bit, I think this storm is going to be either an upper-level Category 3 at landfall or a lower-end Category 4. So we'll have to be looking out for that. Good morning, Storm Chaser Mario. Hope you're doing good, man. Evac Zone A for Pinellas as of 9 a.m. Oh, wow. Gotcha. What's up, Monica? Hope you're doing good. I've been busy and missed y'all praying for Florida in the path of the storms. Absolutely. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good. But anyways, yeah, so we do have a lot more watches and warnings. As a matter of fact, the majority of Florida now is under a tropical storm warning. You can see areas out there by Miami under a tropical storm warning. I mean, the whole East Coast, literally the entire East Coast of Florida at this point in time is under a tropical storm warning. For the Big Bend region, that's where we have those hurricane warnings, and those actually lead their way up into southern Georgia as expected here. We do have ourselves those hurricane warnings going up into southern Georgia out there by like Tifton, towards like Valdosta. We have like Douglas. Some of those regions do have those hurricane warnings too, because the storm is actually expected to remain a hurricane as we kind of approach the south central side here of the state of Georgia. Now, as we approach our way into the morning here of Sunday, the 27th, we're going to have sustained winds around 75 miles per hour with gusts getting up to right around 90 or so. This thing's still likely going to remain a hurricane as we dig our way inland into southern Georgia here overall. Let's see here. Panama City, Florida in the house. Panama City's under a tropical storm warning. The storm is likely going to be making landfall to your east, but Panama City definitely would keep an eye out there for it. As of now, the forecast has you at about 25 to 35 sustained with gusts getting up to 55 miles per hour. But, slightly to your east, it is a much different. Apalachicola area is under hurricane warnings and everything like that. So, but anyways... let's see here. Andrew, is this pretty set path as of the time? It is pretty well set. We are expecting landfall here in the Big Bend in the Panhandle, as far west as like Panama City, and as far east at this point as Horseshoe Beach. We're kind of expecting landfall somewhere in this little inlet area, more than likely, or towards Apalachicola. Now the problem with that too is that Tallahassee, a very, very populated city here in Florida, is going to be right kind of in the middle of it. So, yeah, if you live in Tallahassee, absolutely need to be monitoring this. Let's go ahead and turn off the cone for a second and look at that warning in effect there for Tallahassee. So, peak wind forecast, sustained winds of 70 to 90 miles an hour with gusts getting up to right around 105. Out there towards Tallahassee. That is the latest guidance here regarding the latest warning and everything like that in effect for Tallahassee. Out there by like Apalachicola, the forecast is 60 to 80 sustained with gusts up to 110. Meanwhile, we get more towards coastal areas like coastal areas near Perry. We are 55 to 75 with gusts up to 95. So, honestly, definitely is going to be pretty hefty with the winds and stuff like that overall. And, like we mentioned beforehand, this thing will likely be, an upper level Category 3 or lower end Category 4 upon landfall. Let's see. What about Mexico Beach? Should I pack up and leave? Let's see here. Let me pull up Mexico Beach. Let's see here, Mexico Beach, Florida. Okay, so you're right on the edge of those hurricane warnings and tropical storm warnings. You're in the tropical storm warning here. Oh, man, that's a tough call, man. For your safety, if you're on the coast, I would recommend maybe going a little further inland if you can, because Mexico Beach is right on the coast here, and some of these surges are going to be pretty strong. Here, let's go ahead and take a look at it. The surge map again here. It really does cut down once we get towards this area. But as of now, towards that region, towards like Port St. Joe, and basically out there towards you, around 1 to 3 foot of storm surge is expected. However, just not far to your southeast, out there by like Apalachicola, those surge numbers are going up to 5 to 10 foot. Now, the point of landfall here, right here in the Big Bend, the surges could be as high as 10 to 15 foot above sea level. Then, of course, we have the Tampa Bay area here in around 5 to 8 foot of storm surge. So this is going to be water 5 to 8 foot above sea level, and that's going to put, some pretty big concerns for the the ports out there, for those coastal areas. It's going to be kind of a big issue overall. So please be careful out there. And like I said, you guys hopefully are prepared by now. Today's really your last day you can prepare for this, because tomorrow is the day, and actually we're going to start feeling those effects in southern Florida tonight. Late tonight, we're going to start feeling some of those effects up there towards like the dry Tortugas, towards the Keys, some of southwestern Florida. We're going to start feeling that late tonight. So we'll definitely watch out for that. Any thinking this could tick east to Cedar Key? At this point in time, it is unlikely for it to go that far to the east. The models lately have kind of ruled, or I should say the cone lately has kind of ruled that area out. Let's go ahead and activate our cone here again for you. Yeah, so you can see Cedar Key right here, and basically, the cone basically showing where the center of the storm could go is to your west. The storm's landfall could be as far east as Horseshoe Beach, which is not that far from Cedar Key, but as far east as Horseshoe Beach or as far west as like Mexico Beach, and towards like slightly eastern side of Panama City there. Once again, the majority of, most likely, the storm's going to be making landfall somewhere, in this region. But remember that there is still a pretty wide error margin. Therefore, the eye of the storm, the core of the storm, could, literally pass as far west as, Mexico Beach, or as far east as, what was that? Horseshoe Beach out there too. So that's kind of the range here. But like I mentioned, once again, these yellow polygons here highlighting the counties, these are all tropical storm warnings now in effect here. Tropical storm conditions is expected throughout the entire peninsula of Florida. So obviously, if you are in Florida, you're going to feel this one. You're going to feel it regardless. Obviously, some areas more than others, but now's the time we need to start getting ready. Obviously, you should have been getting ready here, but like I said, this is really the last day you can do so. So make sure that you are getting ready, my friends. What time will we start to see impacts? So like I mentioned, southern Florida here. Let's bring up our models here. So southern Florida could see some of those impacts as early as basically tonight, late tonight here. Let's go ahead and load that up there. This is not lining up perfectly. Hold on. Let's do this. Move this to the south. Why is everything all... Am I on the right thing here? Hold on. It's a little offset. Anyways, yeah, you guys can see the time up in the top right there. Anyways, so yeah, according to things here, here's the latest GFS model. If we take a look at the lower level winds here, this thing has quite a big wind field on it. Now those winds are going to really start brushing up against the coast here, of like southwestern Florida, the dry Tortugas and the Keys. You can see in the time in the top right, this is right around 8 p.m. today. So we're going to start feeling some of those effects, and we're going to start feeling some strong winds out here towards, like southwestern Florida and, the Keys and the dry Tortugas. We're going to start feeling that here tonight. And then, of course, as we roll our way up into, the morning here right around sunrise tomorrow, then that's when the West Coast is really going to start to feel, a lot of those strong winds, and starting to see some of those surges and stuff like that will begin. And as we roll our way into the afternoon here, right around 2 p.m., at that point, that's whenever, areas by like Sarasota, and also areas by like the Tampa Bay, Clearwater, St. Petersburg, some of those regions there will really start to feel it. That'll be roughly right around like 2 o'clock, so, right in the early afternoon. Then, of course, as we roll our way into right around 8 o'clock p.m., that's when we're going to be bracing for landfall. It's going to be sometime tomorrow evening. Still, conditions will be fairly bad up there towards like the Tampa Bay area, and the storm's core will be starting to approach landfall, if not making landfall around this time here for, like I said, tomorrow evening, and that's right around 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, according to the GFS there. So that is what we need to really look out there for. And like I said, at the point of landfall too, there's also going to be some pretty strong winds, and they're going to be aiming themselves right here towards the coast. And a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys were here yesterday for our update, but we did say that there, will likely be some small surging along the coasts of northeast Florida and Georgia. The Hurricane Center has finally talked about that, and they finally added a surge map here. Let's go and hop over here. They finally added an indicator here for a bit of surges in that area we were talking about. So yeah, yesterday we were talking about that before they did it, and now we do have an official 1 to 3 foot of storm surge possible along the northeastern coastal Florida area. That includes like Jacksonville Beach area. Jacksonville Beach we could see a good 1 to 3 foot of storm surge, so 1 to 3 foot of water coming in is a possibility here. Same thing for the Georgia coast out there, including Savannah, southern South Carolina, towards like Hilton Head Island, and some of those regions surrounding the region. We could see a good 1 to 3 foot. Now, obviously, that's very mild comparing to the point of where we are expecting landfall. The point of landfall, we are seeing a good, like I said, 10 to 15 foot. worth of storm surge out there, which is very bad. And a matter of fact, like I said, if you're along the coast here, you're going to want to go inland. You're going to definitely want to leave if you haven't already, because 10 to 15 foot above sea level is a really big deal, and that could cause a lot of problems. So if you're along the coast here in the Big Bend, hopefully you are already. If not, you should do so. You should do so shortly. Please leave those regions there along that coast, because that is conditions are going to be fairly bad out there. Corey says, thank you, sir. I'm going to load the fifth wheel up and get out of Mexico Beach, heading towards Dothan, Alabama. Gotcha. Good. I'm glad to see that you're getting out of there. Mexico Beach, it could either be a really good or a really bad scenario. That's kind of what I'm worried about. You can kind of see how the cone still has this thing potentially. It's unlikely, as a scenario, but the cone still has the possibility of a far westerly movement, having it going near Mexico Beach and towards like Apalachicola, or as far east, like we mentioned, over there towards like Horseshoe Beach area. So when it comes to it, conditions could be either pretty good, because you'd be on the clean side of the storm, and not the strongest one. So the thing about these systems is on the right hand side of these storms. This is what we'd say the dirty side of the storm. That's where you have your strongest winds, the most instability, your tornado threat, everything like that happens on the eastern side of the storm. Now, since that central low, since the core or the eye of the storm will be to your east, that should prevent you from getting like tornadoes and stuff like that. So that would be good. But the main peninsula, not so lucky. And a matter of fact, let me actually go ahead and bring you all over here to the Storm Prediction Center. We got an enhanced risk tomorrow for severe weather. So let's go ahead and pull this up for you guys. Let's go ahead and hop on over here now. So yeah, this is tomorrow's outlook. You can see that out there towards like coastal Georgia and southern South Carolina. We do have a level 3 severe weather threat, and of course that is for tornadoes. We do have a 10% chance for tornadoes. That's considered a decent threat for tornadic activity, and of course, we do have a really big 5% region out here, stretching all the way from central and northern peninsula Florida, cutting through the eastern side here of Georgia, and throughout like central and coastal South Carolina. We do have a 2% chance up there towards like southern North Carolina, and kind of cutting through like central Georgia and central, panhandle basically, or the eastern panhandle here, Florida. So anywhere in this here, we do have ourselves, like I said, a risk for potential tornadic activity. So across the green, you have a 2% chance within 25 miles of you, pretty low odds. Then the brown, a little greater, 5% chance within 25 miles of a tornado happening. And then, of course, we do have a 10% chance across the yellow. So the greatest threat for tornadoes will be in like southern South Carolina, coastal Georgia. So we'll definitely be, wanting to keep an eye out there for that. Let's see here. What about Madison, Florida? We have a lot of people in mobile homes and campers. Just curious what they can expect. They've been asked to voluntarily evacuate, but not wanting to. Here, let's hop on back over here. Let's take a look at that. So Madison, Florida. Okay, yeah. So obviously Madison's inland. So there's not going to be any coastal impacts. However, I would honestly not recommend being in mobile homes out in this region. So if you can, I would leave, just for your safety. You don't want to chance it, because your life is very precious, and you do not want to chance that. If we remove the cone here for a minute and look at that warning underneath, we have a hurricane warning, which you shouldn't be in a trailer if you're under a hurricane warning. Peak wind forecasts. We do have 30 to 40 mile an hour winds with gusts up to 60. But there could be. It depends on the track. It could be a little higher. So you're definitely in a region where I would recommend you not being in a trailer, and where I would recommend maybe kind of going a little bit more inland, if possible, or just getting out of a trailer and finding a better shelter. That would be a much better thing. But yeah, I would not stay in mobile homes or trailers if you're along these areas here. I would not recommend that at all. Aurora says, thanks for covering this. No problem. You're very welcome. Tabletop, no. No, this thing will not, the Enhance will not go up into North Carolina. Like I mentioned before, T-Man, your area is really not going to be in the craziness of the storm here. Now, you could get some impacts, but, you know, I think you're kind of over-worrying yourself with it out there in, you know, southern North Carolina. Well, like I said, there could be some concerns. The biggest problem is going to be for mostly Florida and Georgia here. I says, thank you. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. No problem. Let's see. James wants me to look at Dublin, Georgia. Let's see. Dublin, Georgia. And then after that, we'll look at the models again, y'all. Or we'll look at the models here. So Dublin's in actually our tropical storm watch. So tropical storm conditions are possible. The wind forecast has you in 25 to 35 mile an hour winds with gusts up to 65 overall. Hope you all stay safe, you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I'm here in Polk County. We're actually my forecast. Not that you guys would really care, but I'm in 25 to 35, sustained with gusts up to 60 here in Polk County. So, by the way, they did remove those hurricane warnings for the Tampa Bay area. Those are no longer in a place. At least from what they're. Let me double check on that because they're not overlaying here. I just want to make sure before I really say that. But I am 90% sure. Let's see here. Let's go to the warnings here. We're going to go tropical. And let's... Oh, shoot. Hold on. Tropical. And we'll move that. So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, there is no hurricane warning in effect for areas out there by, like, St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay, Clearwater. You guys are no longer in that. However, we still have a tropical storm warning in effect. We could be gusting near hurricane force, though. 75 gusting to, with sustained of 40 to 50 expected. Still, don't, like I mentioned before, this is still going to be a very heavy hitting storm for the Tampa Bay area. And like I said, once again, you know, with the surges and stuff like that, that's what's really going to make this storm a big concern for the Tampa Bay. You know, as we could be pulling a good 5 to 8 foot above sea level of water. So there's, you know, likely going to be some pretty good impacts out there in those regions. Let's see here. So what's blocking the storm from going in Ohio? What's the pattern been blocking in Ohio from the rain last 2 months? I feel like California desert in Ohio. So we do have a secondary non-tropical low positioning over the Midwest, which is going to kind of pull the storm to the northwest away from that region. Now, with that being said, southern Ohio could pick up a little bit of rain out there. You know, Cincinnati, maybe, you know, up as far north as Columbus could see an inch or so. The totals have actually increased dramatically for western North Carolina. It kind of seems like those areas might see some of the heaviest rainfall out of this event in general. And if you look at the color table on the right-hand side here, you know, we have a lot of red, which is indicating possibly 12, 16 inches of rainfall. And we do have a high risk for flooding out in some of those regions there, which that's a level 4 out of 4. That's a maximum flooding threat, at least a 70% chance of flooding within 25 miles of, you know, the areas that make up this pink area. So like northern Georgia, kind of northeast Georgia, extreme northwestern South Carolina, and like the western side here of North Carolina. We do got a high risk for flooding here. You know, like I said, at least a 70% chance for flooding. And, you know, this is going to really bring a lot of rain to a lot of the southeast U.S., portions of the mid-Atlantic, portion of Tennessee, Ohio Valley, even the Midwest. We'll see a little bit of rain out of this here. So this is going to be quite a soaking storm for, you know, the southeastern portion of our country. So we'll have to see how that goes. Let's see here. I'm in Middle Tennessee. Yeah, so Middle Tennessee is going to see a good amount of rain out of this here. Nashville area could pick up maybe 4 to 6 inches. The majority of Tennessee is going to be right around 2 to 4. The more east you go, the greater potential you got with rainfall. But, you know, by the time we get here, those winds are going to be fairly weakened. The storm would be much, much less of a concern. Let's see here. Thank you. Y'all stay safe. You too, James. Let's see. Is Tennessee just getting storms? So yeah, mostly just a rain concern for Tennessee. Like I mentioned, there could be a little bit of gusty winds as that storm center works its way up there, but by the time it wouldn't be anything super crazy with the winds. But it'll be probably a little breezy. So what's the latest position on the hurricane? Good question. So We are almost a hurricane at this point. We are still a tropical storm, but we are sustained at 70 miles an hour. So we are 5 mile an hour short from a hurricane. Now, this thing's looking pretty nasty. Here, look at the satellite, guys. That's the latest satellite imagery here. Look at the storm there. So right now it's positioned between the northeastern tip of the Yucatan in western Cuba. There's a lot of convection centralizing that low, or that central circulation there. So that is storm stacking very well. Storm is doing pretty good. And like I said, you can see the size of Florida compared to the storm. I mean, this storm's huge. It's not a small storm. It's not only going to be a strong storm, but it's also a big storm too. So. But yeah, so we're going to continue pulling up here to the north over the next little bit. Should be a hurricane by this afternoon, actually. There's actually a solid chance that the storm might even be near hurricane status now, if not already. But officially, it is still an upper-level tropical storm here. But yeah, so definitely keep an eye out. We'll definitely watch that. But yeah, there's a lot of strong thunderstorm activity along the central and the eastern sides here. Definitely some really heavy thunderstorm activity going on out in the storm there. So, but yeah, so she's almost there, almost to a hurricane, in which we do have ourselves hurricane watches in effect throughout western Cuba, as well as tropical storm warnings in effect out there. We do have hurricane warnings in effect for the northeastern peninsula here of the Yucatan. And then, of course, we have those hurricane warnings obviously in effect here in the red for the Big Bend of Florida. If we actually pull up our experimental cone, you notice here how we do have ourselves the blue. This is all tropical storm warnings in effect. So you can see the majority of Florida is under a tropical storm warning at least. Then, of course, we have those red areas, which is hurricane warnings for the eastern panhandle and the Big Bend of Florida, as well as a bit of like southern Georgia included in those hurricane warnings. Because, as we approach our way into the morning of Friday, as the storm kind of digs its way up into like central Georgia, there's still a chance that this thing could still be a low-end hurricane at that point. Likely Category 1 strength, lower in Cat 1. As we kind of roll up into south central and like central Georgia. So that is that. Tropical storm watches are in effect for central Georgia, as well as southern South Carolina there. And so basically that's where tropical storm conditions are possible. But remember, the blue ones, these are warnings, meaning that, like I said, tropical storm conditions is expected. And then the yellows where tropical storm conditions are possible. But a majority of those will eventually likely turn into warnings there as the system does get closer. And of course, you might notice that yellow bubble there. That is the current estimated wind field of tropical storm force winds. And you can see that like western Cuba, the eastern Yucatan right now is likely experiencing some tropical storm force winds out there. And matter of fact, we might actually be getting near hurricane force winds near the northeastern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula. Because this thing is, like I said, literally about to become a hurricane at any time now. So, let's see here. Be sure to take a break for your life-saving streams to risk your life in the winds and have fun. Absolutely. No, I've prepared myself for it. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm in here in Polk County, which is like interior Florida. We won't have any coastal, obviously coastal problems up here, but we could get a little windy. We'll see. But I got my weather station all prepped. My Mesonet's ready to go. Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting collecting data on that storm there, too. Marcus says Category 4, it's not good. Yeah, so right now, officially, it's upper Cat 3. But the way things are going in the models and stuff like that, not to mention, look at this. So as we are still a good distance away from the coast here for the afternoon of tomorrow, we're sustained at 120 at that point, which that's only 10 short from a Category 4. And then, of course, at that point in time, only 10 mile an hour short from a Cat 4, we're still a good maybe 150, 175 miles south of the landfall area. So, there still absolutely is room for further strengthening. Now, there is a bit of dry air that's going to be, potentially impacting the storm. But honestly, when it comes to it, let's actually go and take a look at the models here. I do want to pull that up. And I figured out why my scene was not overlaying properly, I think. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Anyways, but so yeah. So whenever it comes to it, overall, some of those models really do have this thing, getting quite strong. Here, let's go ahead and pull up like the HWRF here. We're going to pull up those main models here. And you can actually see here, the timing of this is going to be right around like 5 to, like I said, right as we approach like 5 o'clock p.m. roughly. That's probably when we're going to start feeling like some hurricane conditions along those coasts there. But, by far the heaviest of it's going to be kind of around like roughly 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. That's when we're going to have some of those strongest winds and all that going on there. But like I mentioned before, there is a bit of dry air that could be starting to pull into storm, but I don't think it's really going to affect the storm that much until after the landfall process. Because, once we fully pull in to landfall here, you notice how that southern side of the storm is brown and tan there. That is representing some dry air. If I was to grab a sounding, you'll notice how spaced out our dew point in the green and our temperature in the red is. So you see that big spacing there? That's showing low humidity, very dry air, which is not what you need for tropical systems. Now, if we grab a sounding towards like, the bluish green area, you're going to see how close those are together, representing saturated air, rapid condensing, therefore, environments capable for, overall, storm activity and stuff like that. So, but also, something I want you to notice too, look at that. So you see how aggressively these winds are changing? If you look at the bottom right-hand side, so this is a vertical representation of our atmosphere. This is our ground level, and we go up in altitude here. So we start off the winds going northwest, and as we go up in altitude, the winds actually change to the north. So that rapid change in wind speed and wind direction, we're also increasing in wind speed with altitude. That could give us a bit of a tornado threat there too that we're watching, in which, like I mentioned before, eastern Georgia, as of right now, does have the greatest threat for tornadoes for the storm right now. You can see the little 10% region up there in eastern Georgia and southern South Carolina. That is where we have that overall. Let's see here. What's up, Ravi? Hope you're doing good. Let's see, Volusia County. I have no idea how you say that one. But yeah, let's take a look at that, my friend. We're gonna hop on back here. Is it Volusia County? I'm gonna try. Let's see here. County, Florida. Here we go. Okay, so you're inland, my friend, but you do have tropical storm warnings in effect. So your estimated winds are going to be between 20 and 30 with gusts up to 50. So, a bit of heavy winds is expected for your area. And whenever it comes like to rainfall and stuff like that, out here towards this region, we actually, the latest WPC forecast actually has the area out there in the 1 to 2 inch range. Majority of the peninsula is going to see between like 2 and 4. The western side obviously experiencing more here. But, whenever it comes to it, Orlando area, according to the latest WPC outlook, and the graphic here has this around 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. But yeah, tropical storm conditions is expected out in that region. What do I think about impacts of winds would be in the Tampa Bay? Good question. So, as of now, we do have a tropical storm warning. We did have hurricane warnings yesterday, but they did cancel those. We still have a hurricane watch, by the way, out there. But tropical storm warning in effect here for winds sustained. So constant winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour with gusts getting up to 75. We could be gusting near hurricane force out in this region here. Now, obviously, that is certainly some pretty strong winds and stuff. And actually, I should probably hop back over here. One of the main concerns for the Tampa Bay is actually going to be, like I said, 5 to 8 foot of storm surge out there. That's a good amount of rainfall. That's a good amount of storm surge out there. Yeah, rainfall could be pretty high out there as well, but storm surge 5 to 8 foot above sea level. That's going to be a kind of a big issue for those ports out there, some of those coastal properties. So make sure that you guys are prepping for that. But yeah, 5 to 8 foot above sea level is expected. Now Tampa Bay could see 4 to 6 inches of rainfall from the latest WPC forecast and stuff like that. But so yeah, Tampa Bay definitely, y'all need to brace for this one. What about Stanford, Florida? Let's see here. Pull up this. Stanford, Florida. Okay, so you, my friend, are up. Okay, yeah, so you're up there, kind of more inland areas. Potential wind gusts 20 to 30 mile an hour winds, or sorry, sustained 20 to 30 with gusts up to 50 miles per hour. So that is kind of, the winds we are expecting out there. So tropical storm conditions is expected in about maybe 1 to 2 inches of rainfall out there. So that is the overall impact. All right, let's hop into models, guys. We're gonna take a look at the models. We're gonna dive on into them and stuff like that. So we're gonna start off with the latest GFS here. Working up everything. So according to the latest GFS, the storm makes landfall sometime around maybe 9 or 10 o'clock according to GFS here. So according to the latest GFS, it has that central low kind of in the mid 950s overall. And whenever it comes to the wind field and stuff like that, we're going to be, according to this model, it actually has us in sustained winds of around 84 knots. Here, let me do that conversion real quickly. I want to say that's like category 2 strength. I want to say that. So 84 knots it has. 96. So yeah, that would put us in like lower end category, low end category 2 there, according to the GFS overall. So. Let's see here. Daddy Crab, dude, thank you so much, man, for the $2 super chat saying, do I have a landfall time? So it's going to be sometime in the evening. Models kind of are hinting towards like 8 o'clock p.m., but just know that could move around a little bit. But I would expect landfall tomorrow evening. Absolutely. But thank you, man, for the 2. That really helps me out a lot, man. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for your support. Let's see here. Live right on the water. We just got mandatory evacuation. So, yeah. So, hopefully you're taking those serious, man. Please be careful out there. Let's see here. What about Tifton, Georgia? Tifton is under a hurricane warning. You, my friend, are going to see winds 50 to 65 sustained with gusts up to 90, according to the latest warning outlook here. So yeah, definitely want to brace out there. Obviously, you're not on the coast there, so that's good. But will be some strong winds, and would be a good amount of rainfall out there too. Towards your region, you'd be experiencing at least 4 to 6 inches of rain, locally higher amounts being quite likely. But anyways, so back to the GFS here. And at the point of landfall, we're going to be having not only hurricane conditions along the Big Bend here and tropical storm conditions, further south, but also some of the eastern coast of Florida as well, and like towards Georgia would be experiencing some tropical storm conditions themselves. So, it's not just going to be a West Coast impact. Like I said, the East Coast is going to feel this very, very well. So, like I mentioned, my folks out there as well, got to keep an eye out there for it. Now, like I mentioned, they did increase, they did add a storm surge concern for the northeastern side here of Florida, coastal Georgia, and like southern South Carolina here. Like 1 to 3 foot of storm surge is expected out there overall. How bad is it going to get in Dixie County? Let's see here. Let's hop on back. County is, I'm assuming, Florida, Dixie County, Florida. So you, my friend, you are in a hurricane warning. Interesting. So yeah, the winds are going to be 25 to 35 with gusts up to 55. That's interesting. But I honestly feel like you probably could experience some stronger winds than that. We'll have to see. The main problem is going to be storm surge along the coast of that county, which is going to be 10 to 15 foot above sea level. So definitely be careful out there, my friend. Hopefully you got all your stuff prepped. We're supposed to be in Destin on Saturday. What kind of impacts are they looking at? Seems like it's not supposed to be bad. Is that correct? Saturday, the storm will be gone out of these regions here. I guess you're going up to Destin, Florida. So Destin, Florida, first of all, is not even really going to feel the storm anything super crazy. That's actually one of the limited areas in Florida that's really not going to feel this thing too bad. So Destin is fine. And plus, like I said, Saturday, this thing's making landfall tomorrow, which is Thursday. Conditions will be much better by then, yes. So should be good. let's see here. How many inches is expected for the Panhandle? So the latest rainfall forecast from the WPC, you guys can see the table on the right-hand side here. You know, out there by like Apalachicola, some of the points by landfall, we could see a good 8 to 12 inches of rainfall. You know, plus the seawater on the coast there, a lot of water is going to be involved for those regions, unfortunately. When's the next update? Let's see here. When do we have? Should be coming out at 11. Yep. So we should have a new update here in about 40 minutes or so, roughly. They usually come out just before 11, or just before the update time. Usually about 10 minutes beforehand. Now it seems after today the models will stay around the same. Probably, yeah. Like I said, the models have kind of really kind of aimed in on, you know, where the storm's going to be, how strong it's going to be too. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the latest GFS has this thing making landfall, you know, roughly just before or right around 8 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. You know, out there in the Big Bend. The latest Euro, ECMWF, you know, you can kind of see has it relatively in the same region here too. And, you know, right around the same time as well, you know, just before or right around 8 o'clock p.m. Is landfall here, according to the model. Then, of course, we got like CMC, which that model's not working right now. Then we got the Icon. Everybody loves. Actually, you know what? I know why that wasn't working. Here we go. So yeah, CMC shows it actually maybe a little bit more to the west here, but still landfall at some point in the evening tomorrow. You know, overall there. You know, still really seeing some good amount of winds inland there too. According to CMC has those inland winds being pretty strong, sustained there. Before kind of getting thrown up here to the north and eventually pulling to the northwest because of that Fujiwara effect with that other non-tropical low across the Midwest. So, you know, that's going to be kind of what we're seeing there with that. Let's see here. Then, of course, Icon. Everybody loves Icon for some reason. Now, Icon's kind of one of the more aggressive models here, showing that pressure down in the 940s. You know, like out there towards like the Big Bend of Florida here, also once again showing the storm making landfall near or around 8 o'clock p.m. So it seems like the models have kind of nailed that right now. So the timing will be tomorrow evening, like I said, at roughly around like 8 o'clock or so. And you know, as we make landfall, not only will the West Coast be impacted, but also the Eastern Coast will be feeling this thing pretty good as well. You know, coastal. You know, Georgia, coastal South Carolina, coastal Florida on the eastern side will be feeling the storm as we make landfall in western coastal Florida here out there by the Big Bend. Let's see here. Try to get to this. What about Crystal River / Spring Hill? Where is that at? Crystal River and Spring Hill. Spring Hill. Is this Louisiana? Yeah, Louisiana's not going to feel this one. I don't know if that's the right area or not, though. Let's see here. Do I know about the bands will be coming through North Carolina? Tabletop, I don't know, man. Honestly, you know, let's look at the models here. Let's see. I'm trying to determine which one we should use because you don't want to use NAM. NAM is definitely not the model. Here, let's do HWRF here. Probably going to be HWR parent. Probably the best model to depict that. I might have to use the normal one. Here we go, radar and MSLP. Okay, so sometime in the morning of Friday. Yeah, early in the morning of Friday is probably when you're going to feel it. And it's off screen, but that's when those bands will approach near the region. Yeah, early Friday, before sunrise, more than likely. Let's see here. Making rain in West Tennessee. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of Tennessee is going to be feeling the rain out of this one here. You know, the rain's even going to get kind of pulled in towards, like, like northeastern portions of, Arkansas and, like, southeastern Missouri and, like, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. We'll get a little bit. But, yeah, a lot of rain's going to be pulled up towards the Mid-Atlantic, Southeast, Tennessee, Ohio Valley, and portions of the Midwest out there, too. Spring Hills in Florida. Let's try this again here. Oh, here we go. Now it works. Okay, so Spring Hill, you guys are under a tropical storm warning here. However, the coast west of Spring Hill is under a hurricane warning. So the coastal areas here will be having gusts up to 80, sustained of 35 to 40, while Spring Hill itself will be kind of 25 to 30 sustained with gusts up to 60. So that is that overall. And of course, with rainfall, models are right between, or WPC forecast has you right between the 2 to 4 and the 4 to 6 inch rain marker. So, yeah, mostly at least 2 to 4 inches. Locally higher amounts is what I would go off of. The bald weather channel meme guy, Jim Cantori, is in my town. Yeah, you know things are gonna go down when Jim Cantori's out there. That's the big Florida meme. Love it, love it, love it. My cousins are in Port Richey. Let's pull up Port Richey here. See what we got going on out there. Port Richey. Okay, yeah. So Port Richey's under a hurricane warning out there. So sustained winds, so constant winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour with gusts up to 80 is expected along out there towards like Port Richey. Now, the problem out there is really going to be felt through storm surge. You're going to be right around 6 to 10 foot of storm surge near Port Richey area. So, let's see here. Jim, yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he is used to it as well because he's covered so many hurricanes, man. What about Beverly Hills, Florida? Let's look. Like I said, if you guys could do me a favor, leave a like. It'd be greatly appreciated. Once again, I appreciate y'all. If you guys could share this too, put it on your Facebook wall, your Twitter wall. Just help that out. Help us out here and help spread the word. So this area is actually under a tropical storm warning. Tropical storm conditions expected 25 to 35 miles an hour with gusts up to 60. Since we're kind of inland here, obviously now for the western sides, like near like Crystal River, we obviously could have some swelling, some coastal impacts out here. We will, of course. Now the more inner areas, would see mostly just a wind threat overall. So, and also, for these little lakes and stuff too, those winds, they will actually push some water, along the coast, which, could cause even some swelling along some of those lakes there too. So, it's just kind of a body of water threat there in that region. But yeah, the coasts are going to be by far the worst overall. Let's see here. What about Dothan, Alabama? Yeah, Dothan, Alabama's going to be relatively on the lighter side of things. Now, we do actually have a tropical storm warning in effect, but that's like the last county that has that. We could see some strong winds, 20 to 30 miles an hour with gusts getting up to right around 50 or so. So, definitely in that tropical storm realm of things. But honestly, yeah, it's going to be relatively a walk in the woods for this area, but keep an eye out there for the storm. There's definitely going to be some strong winds. Could cause some issues. One thing I will say though is that there is going to be a good amount of rain out of this one though. We are talking a good 4 to 6 inches potentially out there. Alabama is actually the eastern side. It's going to feel a pretty good amount of rainfall from the storm here. Matter of fact, this is the latest WPC forecast regarding the rainfall accumulations. Remember the tables on the right hand side you guys can see here, and throughout your area down there in like southeastern Alabama. We're in the color table of 4 to 6 inches of rain. So it definitely could get pretty pretty windy and good amount of rainfall out there too. So definitely keep an eye on it. Let's see here. Jason says, "Hey, buddy, checking back on from the Shawnee River. How we looking?" Do you have a zip code, Jason? That would probably be a lot easier for me, honestly. Let's see. What's up, West Point? Hope you're doing good. Andrew says, "Oh yeah, Andrew, have I checked the GFS model a few days after landfall? Another quote-unquote hurricane forms. I guarantee it'll be gone in the next run." I mean, we'll see though. I mean, we are in hurricane season. Here, let me look at it. I mean, I was looking at it yesterday. I didn't really see anything. 06 Zulu. Oh, okay, I see that. Was that even there on the last model run? It was, but it was in a complete different region. So yeah, you can kind of see here that it's very much unknown right now. I wouldn't count on it, honestly. It's kind of in la land out there. Jason 32008. Okay, got you. That works out a lot better. Okay, so you, my friend, you're actually, you're in the hurricane warning here. When it comes to the winds, the forecast here, we are expecting, the latest forecast to show us, 25 to 35 mile per hour sustained winds with gusts up to 60. That's what the latest has as N4 here. Let's see here. Yeah, latest local forecast says below tropical storm force winds, putting us at 25 to 30 miles an hour with gusts up to 60. So we'll be gusting pretty heavily. Let's see here. I have a flood watch. Yeah, there's a lot of flood watches in effect here too. Let's see if I can pull those up for you guys real quickly. Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna pull up the flooding threat here. Go ahead and bring you guys over to that. So yeah, the flooding threat, like I mentioned, is pretty heavy. So we have, like I said, a scale that goes from 1 to 4, 4 being like the worst and 1 being like the lowest end flooding threat. But we have a level 4, maximum flooding threat for like western North Carolina, a little sliver of extreme northwestern South Carolina, northern Georgia there. So at least a 70% chance of flooding in that region there, within 25 miles of a given area. A big moderate risk for flooding, big problem still for flooding across the red, decent flooding threat across the yellow here, which covers a big area. Then of course, the level 1, which is, a milder threat for flooding, but still flooding is possible. Absolutely. So keep that in mind. Jason says, thanks, appreciate your work. No problem, man. You're very welcome. Like I said, I'm glad to help you guys out. Glad to be here for you. And, we'll continue to serve you guys the information, until the point where the storm is no longer a concern. So, we're here for you. We got you covered. So, and like I said, if you guys could do me a favor, consider leaving a like, subscribing, and most importantly, if you guys could share this to somebody or a group of people, put it on your Facebook wall, Twitter, like I said, just post it wherever you really can. That way we can, hopefully help out as many people as possible, because that's the goal here, is to help keep everybody weather aware and prepared. So let's see. What about South Carolina? Is that Aiken, South Carolina? Let's pull this up here. Okay, so this region here does not have any watches yet or anything like that. It might get a little windy. As the time the storm gets here. But what I will tell you is that there's certainly going to be a pretty decent amount of rain out there. 2 to 4 expected. I'd say locally 4 to 6, because you're right on the boundary, slightly to the east of the boundary of 4 to 6 inches of rain. But yeah, so I would expect at least 2 to 4 inches of rainfall out there. Mississippi's not going to have hardly any impacts from the storm at all, which is good. Yeah, Mississippi, really isn't forecasted to see a whole lot. The winds won't be too bad. Honestly, I don't know if you're going to really feel those winds too much out there in Mississippi. So Mississippi's fine with that. Nothing concerning wind related. Precip related too, not a whole lot. Maybe northern parts could see it, maybe an inch or so, but yeah, not a whole lot. Let's see. So Central Florida should be clear. Lakeland, to be exact. Yeah, I'm actually here in Lakeland as well. Lakeland. So for us, it's going to get a little windy. We're under tropical storm warnings, so we're going to experience tropical storm conditions. But since we're not inland, since we're not on the coast, and since we are inland, that will allow us to, not have any coastal concerns or anything like that. It's mostly just going to be heavy rain and a bunch of winds for us, which could lead to some, trees coming down, branches, some mild damages in some spots, and of course, some power outages and everything like that. So, absolutely. Good morning. Did I miss anything? Just came over from my local area regarding the weather. Well, we covered a lot of the storm so far. Good morning, Cat Loaf. Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Jason says, I'll be sharing on Facebook. I subscribed as well. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Let's see here. What about Griffin, Georgia? Let's look it up here. Griffin, Georgia. Yeah, as of now, there is not any tropical storm watches or anything, but I do think eventually those will likely pull up to your north. The way that things are going, the storm will likely be a tropical storm as it kind of passes over you. So you very well could experience some tropical storm conditions, but just based off of things here, I mean you're right in the middle of the cone there too. So, I think you have a pretty decent shot at seeing that. I mean, because the storm's still going to be a hurricane, as we approach into kind of south-central Georgia here. We're still going to be in that. So, right around the time here for the morning, right around 2 a.m. For Friday. We'll be having sustained winds of 75, which is like lowest in hurricane. So, that's low in Cat 1. You're welcome, Hayden. No problem, man. 978 from Recon. What? Hold on. Let's verify that. I want to see that. Hold on. Ooh. Okay, I saw a 981. Was it a different mission or something? Here, let's do full screen. I don't know how well I have this thing updated. Okay. It's a little iffy. 981, 982. Is there more missions in it too? 985. Unless it's oh yeah, we're getting into 970s now. Wow, dude. Okay, yeah, that's I think we're actually in hurricane status now at this point. We did have 60 knot winds. That would have put us right at lower Cat 1. So I think the 11 o'clock update, she's going to put us at Category 1. I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think she's a hurricane now. I think so. Officially not yet, but based off of recon data and satellite imagery, the storm looks mean. Yeah, look at the satellite imagery, guys. I mean, convection is very well centralized. Very good circulation going on at this point. Very good venting. Storm is doing great. It's doing really well. Yeah, I think she's a hurricane at this point. Yeah, I mean you can also see here that the size of Florida. I mean this is not a small storm. Like this is Florida. This is the storm. I mean it's a big storm. It is a big storm. See 975, 978. Ugh. Yeah, 978 is certainly pretty big upgrade there from previous assessments. So yeah, that means she's real close. They're going right in the center again. Gotcha. Let's see here. What do most of the models show the storm going east of it? Why do most of the models show it? Real-time storms, the models do not show the thing going east of the Big Bend. Yeah, I don't know what models you're looking at, but the models here that we use, they have it going into the Big Bend. So the Big Bend region is this area here. You can see GFS has it going into the Big Bend right around 8 o'clock or so tomorrow night. Same thing for ECMWF here. Euro shows it pretty similar to GFS, actually. Look at that. 954 from GFS. Euro has it just a tad bit more to the left or to the west here. Still relatively the same impacts and stuff like that. CMC has it a little weaker, but maybe a little bit later at landfall. icon, much stronger, much stronger according to the icon here. Same thing, 8 o'clock p.m. So it seems like around 8 o'clock or so tomorrow night is going to be our landfall. So we'll definitely be live to cover that too. Let's see here. Kari says, what about Northwest Cape Coral, Florida? Let's see here. Cape Coral, Florida. You, my friend, are under a tropical storm warning. So tropical storm conditions expected. Sustained winds, so constant winds of 35 to 45 miles an hour with gusts up to 65 expected. Now, towards the coastline, regarding like surges and stuff like that, say if you're on the coast there, out there by your coast, it'll be right around 3 to 5 foot of storm surge out there. So, pretty solid amount still of water expected to roll inland out there. Once again, Tampa Bay here, we're still sitting at 5 to 8 foot above sea level. Let's see. Yes, there will be a chance of chance of tornadoes. Chance of Florida, guys. Yeah, there will be a chance for tornadoes. Like I said, we do have an enhanced risk tomorrow. The biggest concern for tornadoes as of now is in eastern Georgia, southern South Carolina region there. Of course, we do have a large 5% chance for tornadoes too across the Brown, and then of course we do have the pretty widespread 2% region. So if you're in any shade of color here, there is a threat for tornadoes and stuff like that. So, but 5% chance once again across the brown, 2 across the green, and then 10% across the yellow. Can I see what the HAFS model or HAFSB? Yes, I got you, man. All right, let's hop back over here. Let's do HAFSA first. Okay, so this is kind of one of the more aggressive models, as you can tell, showing that pressure getting down into the upper 920s. Definitely a very aggressive model, showing landfall right near 8 o'clock. Yeah, it seems like the models are really pinning down the timing with that. And of course, yeah, HAFSB is the most aggressive. This is almost like forecasting with NAM at this point. This is an unlikely scenario. Overall, this is by far the most aggressive model that's available right now. Showing 908 central low. Yeah, I don't know about all that, man. But I do think that, the timing is, even the timing on this model is a little bit off, too, compared to the others. I think this is what we call an outcast. This is one of the models you just don't really want to take too heavily into consideration because the other models literally show everything else. Let's see here. You're welcome, Kari, no problem. So if it's already at 972, could it be at 920s at landfall? Unlikely. Like I mentioned, there's not a whole lot of model support that suggests that. But we'll be tracking it the whole time. So let's see here. It might become a Cat 4. Yeah, I think personally it'll be an upper level Category 3, lower Cat 4 at landfall. No, this thing will not likely be a high-end Cat 5. No. Absolutely not. There's not a lot of model support even suggesting that. Only a handful of models that show that, so. I mean, even looking at the guidance here, you see none of the main hurricane models going up in the Category 5 realm. So, yeah. No, I don't think it'll be Cat 5, guys. I don't, personally. Not enough support even for it, so. Nope. Let's see. What about Hazelhurst, Georgia? Here, let's pull up Hazelhurst. Hazelhurst. So yeah, Georgia's also going to be feeling some heavy impacts from the storm. So you're actually under a tropical storm warning out there. Let's see here. So peak wind forecast. So we are expecting a wind sustained of 20 to 30 miles an hour with gusts up to 65. So we'll definitely be gusting pretty heavily. But you're inland. You're obviously not in any coastal concerns or anything like that. You'll likely see a good amount of rain though out of this here. Good 4 to 6 locally higher amounts possible. Let's see here. Models don't remember history. Yeah, of course they don't, but they go off of current conditions and they project future conditions. No need to look at previous. Yes, tabletop. I will go live this evening as well. I want to stream as much as I can for you guys to help y'all out with the forecast and help you guys stay prepared. So, let's see here. Garrett, that's totally up to you, man. It wouldn't affect me in any way. And by the way, I did read your comment. You just didn't hear it. Could strengthen fast. Yeah, I mean, I think it does have a really good shot at, picking up some strength fairly quickly. Just considering the conditions it's in, first of all, very warm sea surface temperatures, tons of moisture available, at least for the beginning, middle portion of its life, overall. So, that's that. But yeah, we'll definitely, it has a pretty decent chance at, really strengthening quickly. When's the next NHC update? So yeah, it'll be out here pretty soon, actually. Right around 11 o'clock or so. Right around 11. But anyway, so let's go ahead and hop over here back to the models, y'all. We're going to take a look back over here. James, what about Atlanta? So Atlanta, as of now, does not have any warnings or any watches or anything like that. But I do want Atlanta to watch out for it. There still is a good shot that the thing could be a mid, maybe low-end tropical storm as we approach Atlanta area. So, and regarding the rainfall in Atlanta, it's actually pretty high. Matter of fact, look at this. If we hop over to, you guys can see the table on the right-hand side here. So Atlanta, we're in a good 8 to 12 inches of rainfall. That's a lot of rain, especially if you're in a low-lying area out there by Atlanta. That could be a big problem. So, let's see. What's up, Pilot? Hope you're doing good, man. Yeah, it'll probably be upper Cat 3, lower Cat 4 at landfall, y'all. That's what seems most probable. Wouldn't be shocked if it makes an eye soon. It's, she's really making a run for her money right now. Let's go and hop back over here to satellite and show you guys what she looks like right now. So that's the storm. That's her right now. See that the center of the core is literally right off the coast there of the northeastern peninsula, northeastern peninsula here of the Yucatan. So that's a pretty, pretty nasty looking lately. It's looking a lot better. There's likely near hurricane conditions out there by the Yucatan there, the northeastern tip. They do have hurricane warnings out there in effect. So there's a really good shot that this thing is Category 1 right around now. Let's see here. I'm in Georgia. I've been preparing for this. I took a hotel 3 days. Off the ground. I'm bringing my battery charger in case lights go out, but generator. Good job. I'm proud of you. Good job for taking the storm seriously. Absolutely. Watch it from Ireland. Holy cow. Hope you're doing good, man. Hello from the States. Let's see. Do I think that it could wobble back west? This storm, I really think, is going to be one of those wobblers. I think the storm does have, potential to either kind of move around either east or west. But we should stay in the cone. We should stay in the cone here. The storm could, like I said, the eye could make landfall as far west as Mexico Beach here, or as far east out there towards Horseshoe Beach area. So there's pretty that's the error margin. We're likely going to make landfall near Apalachicola, towards Carabel, near St. Mark's maybe. Some of those regions. There's a decent shot at this thing making landfall over y'all. Let's see. Yeah, it is a big storm already, isn't it? Yeah, she's pretty big. I mean, look at the size of Florida compared to the storm here. So there's Florida, and then it's kind of hard to see under the clouds here. I might be able to make that look a little better for you guys. There we go. Let's turn that down to 50. So there you go. So now you can see Florida itself. But yeah, look at the size of the storm there. You know, comparing to Florida. I mean, it's a pretty, pretty big storm already. Beryl's younger sister. I guess if that's what you want to call it. I mean, go ahead. But yeah, she's definitely kicking up in some heat. Let's see here. Yeah, there is a lot of people that are taking this storm way too crazy with the thumbnails and stuff. Like, there's people that are literally saying that it's gonna be like Category 5 at landfall and stuff like that. It's like, dude, I mean, that's extremely unlikely right now. You know, we're gonna be here to help keep you guys informed, while a lot of the other channels are just there for clicks. It gets annoying. Let's see. What were the tornado side of the storm? So yeah, the right-hand side of the tropical cyclone, so tropical and non-tropical lows, is on the right-hand side. And like we mentioned here, if we hop over to the Storm Prediction Center here, we do have ourselves, like I said, a pretty decent tornado threat. Out there for the greatest tornado threat tomorrow is going to be along like eastern Georgia there, like southern South Carolina and stuff like that. So. We do have a big old 5% region too, from the central peninsula to the northern peninsula, cutting through, like I said, eastern Georgia, South Carolina there too, and of course, 2% region here as well. Pretty large. And actually, matter of fact, guys, today, we do have a 2% chance out there. Let's see. Model showed 888 the other day. You're probably looking at NAM 3K. Never a good model to look at for tropics. I haven't seen any other model do that except for the NAM 3K, which is never a model you want to take into consideration. Yeah, the NAM 3K is just simply not made for tropical systems here. Let's see. Recon found 80 knots. I don't know about all that. Did they? Holy cow. Flight level 175 knots, but that's not surface. That's not... the most I've seen from the storm now is 65 knots. There was a 65 knot one earlier. Yeah, I don't see no 80 knot as of now. I don't think so. Let's see. Hi, Andrew. Is Jacksonville going to feel effects? Will it wobble again? Yeah, so Jacksonville will definitely be feeling some of the effects here. We do have tropical storm warnings in effect now for the Jacksonville area. So, expect some tropical storm conditions. So we are talking, good 25 to 35, mile per hour sustained winds here. Like I said, with gusts getting up to, right around like 65 or so. So definitely is, going to be feeling some pretty strong winds out there. Now, Jacksonville Beach, though, we do have a potential for maybe 1 to 3 foot of, storm surge going along the eastern side. Because, as we do make landfall here, let's see here. So let's go hop back to the models here. So as we do make landfall, not only will the western coast be feeling the effects, but also the eastern side as well, because this thing has a massive wind field to it. So, a lot of those winds are going to be really kind of pointing towards, Florida's central northeastern coast and like towards Georgia. So that's why we do have those surges updated from the Hurricane Center here that you guys can see. So they do include like portions of southern South Carolina, all of coastal Georgia, including like Savannah, some of those regions out there by Savannah, near like Hilton Head, near Beaufort areas in South Carolina. So, and like northeastern Florida, the coast out there by like I said, once again, Jacksonville Beach area, we'll possibly see some mild surges, but definitely nothing comparing to the West Coast. Towards the Big Bend, the area of landfall, we are expecting around 10 to 15 foot worth of storm surge out there. Tampa Bay, still going to see a really good amount of storm surge, 5 to 8 foot of storm surge out there in Tampa Bay. So, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Is it coming towards Florida right now? So right now she is moving Pretty much here to the northwest, and it's going to start pulling to the north and then slightly start turning to the northeast here later today. Let's see here. It's huge. Yeah, Carrot, it is a pretty big storm, isn't it? She is a pretty big storm so far. If you look at the size of the storm, I mean, she's quite big. There's a lot of convection on the eastern side of the storm here too, and of course you have your main centralized convection there. You know, the core's just right around that northeastern tip here of the Yucatan Peninsula. From here on out, though, we're going to start kind of pulling to the north and slightly turning to the northeast over the next little bit. Let's see. Yeah, no, this thing is not gonna. So USA, this thing is not gonna be an upper Cat 5. No, this thing highly unlikely. I think a realistic standpoint on the strength of the storm here is going to be upper Cat 3, maybe lower Cat 4. That's a reasonable assumption, based off of the trend of model data, Hurricane Center forecasts and stuff. I mean, if we take a look here at the latest cone from the Hurricane Center, still a good 175 miles away from the coast here. We're right at 120 sustained. That's only 10 short from Cat 4. So yeah. Here, let's see here. Let me go ahead and get rid of something here. But anyways, yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, we should be getting our new 11 o'clock update here very soon. Absolutely. Let's see. It's like the western part will receive rainmaker. Yeah, the western will see a good amount of rainfall. Here, let's hop back over here to the projection. So here's the latest WPC forecast, y'all, regarding the rainfall. The tables on the right hand side you guys can see. So out there where we make landfall, we're going to be seeing about 8 to 12 inches of rainfall. So we could be accumulating up and over a foot of rain out there. Now some of the worst rainfall is going to be felt along like western North Carolina, where we could see a good 12 to 16 inches of rainfall. That's a pretty solid amount. And if we take a look at the overall flooding threat, we do have a high risk for flooding, which is the level 4 out of 4 on the spectrum here, which would definitely be a big concern for flooding. So if you're in the the yellow, red, and the pink there, you have a pretty decent shot for flooding within the region. So if you're in a flood prone area, please keep an eye out there for the flooding, because especially the red and the pink there, those are some pretty nasty flooding concerns. Still a decent concern across the yellow, and then still a threat for flooding, but more of the lower end side for the green areas here. The news says it was going to be strong like Ian. I mean, it's going to be a strong one. Absolutely. Like I mentioned before, the storm surge, I mean, that's going to be 10 to 15 foot above sea level. That is going to be very high. That's going to be a big problem for the coastline there, for some of those, coastal properties and, some of the ports and stuff like that that's out there. That's going to be a big issue. And of course, like I said, rainfall too, on top of the landfall there, the ocean water, there is going to be a good amount of rainwater associated with it too. I mean, good 8 to 12 inches along the landfall point is expected. So, mixing the ocean water storm surge of 10 to 15 foot above sea level, and the rain amount of 8 to 12 inches of rainfall, that's going to bring a lot of water to the region, and that's going to be a big problem. So water is the biggest problem with hurricanes. Flooding and storm surge and all that stuff is like the leading problem for hurricanes overall. How's Jacksonville Beach going to hold up? So Jacksonville Beach is expecting tropical storm conditions. We are also expecting around 1 to 3 foot of storm surge out there along Jacksonville Beach. As of now, the forecast has you sustained, so constant winds of around 25 to 35 miles an hour, and we could be gusting up to right around like 65 or so. So, Didn't Irma take the same track? I don't recall. I think Irma did go up the west coast a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. But I feel, something tells me Irma was a bit more east. Yeah, this storm actually has a pretty similar track, I've noticed, to Debbie earlier in the year, but obviously Debbie was much more mild compared to this storm here. Let's see. I'm worried about Augusta, Georgia, because I don't know really what the highest expect. Let me pull up that for you, man. Let's go ahead and look at that. Augusta, Georgia, here. Okay, so as of now, you're not in the watches or anything, but you know, there's a chance, you know, with time that could be a thing. We'll see. You're going to be seeing potentially a good, 2 to 4 inches of rainfall with local amounts more like 4 to 6 being a good possibility. So, regardless, you're going to get a good amount of rain from the storm. Now, like wind related, you're obviously not going to be in any hurricane conditions or anything like that. It will be a little gusty. It will definitely be a little windy out there. So keep an eye on the forecast, and if watches or warnings get issued for you, look at those locally. And, I'm sure we'll be doing a lot more coverage, once the storm kind of pulls inland as well, because, the impacts are not just as it makes landfall, but the impacts will be felt throughout like Georgia, throughout the Carolinas, maybe even like Tennessee, as the storm will be transitioning into a depression at that point, but still a lot of rain will be associated there. Is there a chance that the Tampa Bay will be hit by a hurricane? It seems unlikely. Yeah, the cone is a lot further west of Tampa Bay, so as close as the eye or the center of the storm could get is right here. And Tampa's still a good distance away. So, yeah, Tampa's not going to get the eye of the storm. We do have a hurricane watch in effect for Tampa Bay and tropical storm warnings in effect. So we are expecting tropical storm conditions. We're just going to continue to watch. I believe there was a hurricane warning yesterday, but I think they removed that and just replaced it with back to a watch and upgraded to or downgraded to a tropical storm warning. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm getting mixed messages for Dothan, Alabama, in the cone. Should barely worry. What is my thoughts? So you, my friend, obviously, yeah, you're under a tropical storm warning. You're going to feel some gusty winds out of it, of course. You're going to have a good 20, 30 mile an hour winds sustained, so constant winds with gusts, right around 50 miles an hour or so. You're going to feel it, absolutely. Now, you're going to actually be in a concern for a good amount of rainfall because, eastern Alabama does actually have a pretty solid amount of rain expected. Out there towards your area there, you're in the yellow, which will put you right around 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. Locally, even higher theoretically could be possible there. So, regardless, it's going to be a rainy system for you. And, matter of fact, it actually will be a little bit windy for you, too. Let's see here. I'm in, Dunedin. Is that how you say that? How's it looking for me? Let's look, man. Let's take a look at that. By the way, guys, if you could do me a favor, leave a like, hit that subscribe button. That way we can help spread the word, guys. That would be much appreciated. Let's see here. Pull this up for you. So this is in Florida. Okay, so you, my friend, so yeah, you're on the coast here. 5 to 8 foot of storm surge is expected along this region. So if you're on if you're right on the coast there, that could be an issue. Because know that the water is going to be rising 5 to 8 foot above, where it normally sits. And of course, you have tropical storm warning in effect. You're going to be seeing some strong winds, sustained, so constant winds of around 40 to 50 miles an hour. And we could be gusting up to right around like 75. So we could be gusting near lower end hurricane force. So, let's see. See, what should I be expecting for Clemson / Greenville, South Carolina? Let's look, man. Let's see. Clemson, South Carolina. Okay, so yeah, you're on the western side. Yeah, you know what? You're actually in a really solid shot for some heavy rain. As a matter of fact, you're actually in the realm of 8 to 12 inches of rainfall out there. Now, by the time that the storm kind of passes, it's going to be passing to your west. But by the time it does pass to your west here, the winds won't be as strong. You'll notice it'll be a little windy, of course. You'll definitely, feel some winds. But the majority of those winds are going to be relatively west of you. So, the winds ain't going to be that much of a problem for you as much as rain will be. So mostly just a rainy system for you. A little windy, of course, overall. So keep that in mind. And of course, you're going to feel your impacts there for more Friday, of course. Now, tornadoes, the way that tornadoes go, let's see, I believe you are in the threat today for tornadoes. Yeah. So we actually do have a 2% chance for tornadoes today across areas like southwest Virginia, going through western Carolinas here, going through Georgia, eastern Alabama, cutting through a lot of Florida. But yeah, we do have a tornado threat even today, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, your main problem, my friend, is going to be for rain. Let's see. Let's see here. Steffi says, hi, everyone. Please consider throwing a like. Thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. Oh, hold on a minute, y'all. Oh, John became a tropical storm again. Yeah, we should be getting some updates, guys, here very soon with new updates on the storm. I'm very confident this thing's already a Category 1. Just the way that the thing's looking like. Let's see here. This thing will go near Atlanta, yes. It will actually still likely be a tropical storm as we approach Atlanta. So there's a good shot that, those watches and maybe warnings will creep their way up towards Atlanta at some point. But yeah, the storm will likely be a tropical storm still as we approach that region. Let's see. Worried about my area near Warner Robins, Georgia. Let me look for you. Hopefully I can help you out a little bit. Hopefully this will help ease you a little bit. So for you, my friend. Okay, so the good news is that you are not, you're probably not going to experience any hurricane conditions or anything like that. You're far enough inland, so no coastal problems. That's where a lot of the problem is for these tropical systems, is the coast. Now, for you, my friend, you have a tropical storm watch, so conditions are possible. Peak wind forecast here, 55 to 70 miles an hour with gusts up to 90. That's actually a lot stronger than I was anticipating there. But still, there definitely will likely be some strong winds out there. Keep an eye out there for it. Remember, this is a watch, and so that forecast is likely going to be changing around a little bit even until we get to the point here. So, for you, it's still going to be a little bit before we get to that point. So we'll just have to monitor it and see how rapidly it depletes as we go inland overall. But the good news is that, like I said, there's no coastal impacts. Oh, guys, it did it. She's a Cat 1. It's official, y'all. It is now a hurricane. Helene is now a Cat 1. Let's hop over here to the NHC. I just got an alert here on my phone that is now a Category 1. Yep, there it is. The sustained winds did not update, but it's actually sustained of 80. It jumped 75. It went straight to 80 here. This says 70, but that has to update yet. Wow, man. Well, there you go. It's official. Here, let's hop back to the main page. Oh, that's not the page I want to go to. Look at that. Yeah, there you go. 80 sustained, pressure down to 979. Helene becomes a hurricane, expected to bring life-threatening storm surge, damaging winds, and flooding rain across a large portion of Florida, southeastern United States. So we should get is there a new cone yet? Okay, we're going to have to wait a minute for our new cone to come out. But there you go. There you go. Let's see here. What should I be expecting here in Sylvester, Georgia? Let's look. Let's see, let me go ahead and pull this up for you. All right, let's hop over here, and we'll pull up Sylvester, Georgia. Okay, so you, my friend, you're actually in a hurricane warning. You could expect, so we're going to have sustained winds, so constant winds of around 60 to 80 miles an hour with gusts up to 95, according to the Hurricane Center. So definitely could get pretty windy. Please be careful out there. The main concern for you, obviously, is going to be strong winds following actually really heavy rain too. Good 4 to 6 inches with locally higher amounts possible along the region here from the WPC. Now, yeah, the winds could definitely be an issue, especially if you get that much. Especially if you get that much rain. That's going to allow the ground to seep up that water. It's going to loosen up the ground a bit, which strong winds could knock down some trees and power lines. So please be careful. Please be careful out there. There will likely be some strong winds and stuff like that out in your region. So absolutely. And if there's anything else I can do for you, my friend, let me know. Okay. Like I said, I'm trying to do the best I can to help y'all out as much as possible. Like I said, I get it's a little nerve-wracking, but we'll get through this, y'all. We'll get through it. Let's hop on back here. See if they get that new cone here soon. Still not yet. Still haven't got our new cone here quite yet. Let's see here. Dog Cash, my man on Venmo just gave me $15 on a Venmo Venmo donation. Thank you so much, dude. Big shout out goes out to Dog Cash here with a $15 donation saying, thank you very much for the hurricane coverage. You're the best. I appreciate that, Dog Cash. Thank you so much for your support. That'll help go towards our programs and help keep us up and running. Thank you so much, dude. That's really, really nice of you. Thank you. Let's see here. Yep, so I'll let you guys know whenever we get that new update and stuff like that. But it immediately jumped from 70 to 80 mile an hour sustained, so... she's officially a Category 1 hurricane, y'all. Officially Cat 1. Let's see here. Would I be able to pull up the hurricane and fast forward over southeast Florida? I saw the heavy east side. Oh, you mean like the models? Yeah, I could do that. Worried about tornadoes. So tornadoes will be a concern throughout Florida, Georgia, and like I said, South Carolina as well. The heaviest is actually going to be up there towards like the eastern side of Georgia here. Let's go ahead and bring up a model here. We're going to pull up the HWRF, the 06 Zulu run here. And we'll go ahead and pull up the future radar and stuff there too. So yeah, we're gonna really start feeling those bands and stuff like that rolling in here. Sometime in the morning, afternoon of tomorrow. But yeah, the landfall is going to be somewhere around the evening of tomorrow. Like we're thinking around like 8 o'clock p.m. for landfall, and then of course kind of digs its way inland, still being quite strong, still likely experiencing some hurricane conditions towards like central Georgia potentially. Tornadic concern on the eastern side, like I mentioned. That's where your instability is, your fuel for those thunderstorms and potential tornadic activity, but also your strongest winds and stuff like that, and that aggressive change in wind speed and wind direction as you climb up in altitude, that creates an environment that's capable for tornadoes. So absolutely. So please be careful out there, and like I mentioned, we'll definitely be watching it. Like I said, we're gonna be doing coverage on this here too, guys. So we'll keep you guys posted. Let's see here. So my father took all day and night yesterday going to Savannah, Georgia to get out of the 10% tornado risk. Gotcha. Yeah, and so guys, the tornado threat, tomorrow's tornado threat here, we do have an enhanced risk, a level 3 for tornadoes. So yeah, eastern Georgia, southern South Carolina, we do have a decent tornado threat, so keep an eye out there for that. If you're in any shade of color here on the map, so green, brown, and yellow, there is a chance for a couple tornadoes. The greatest concern, of course, yellow, kind of our middle concern across the 5% region in the brown. So within 25 miles of a given area, so we'll use like Orlando, for example. So within 25-mile radius of Orlando, there's a 5% chance of a tornado dropping in that region. So you can kind of see where this is going. So 10% chance would mean a 10% chance within 25 miles of an area like Savannah. So that's kind of how that works. And then of course the green is a lower 2% chance. So pretty low odds. But yeah, we will likely have some tornadoes out of this event, unfortunately. Oh gosh, y'all. All right, we got a big update coming for you guys here. Some breaking news. This thing is only 5 mile an hour short from a Category 4 at landfall, according to the Hurricane Center now. So landfall is going to be... Here, let's pull up the cone. Goodness, dude. Yep, so there's I think this is actually our previous cone. It might have moved a little bit west. Oh, yeah, so there's barely moved at all. But, yeah, so this program loves to go back and forth. But, yeah, at the point of landfall here, the Hurricane Center now shows 125 mile per hour sustained winds here, you know, out there in the region, which that is 5 short from a Category 4. Let's see here. Matthews, thank you so much, dude, for the 3. Is that the 3 euros? I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Big shout out, Matthew. Thank you, dude. Thank you for your support. Appreciate it. Good morning, Calvin. Hope you're doing good, man. I cannot show the cams because they're copyrighted, unfortunately. Let's see here. Going to Sarasota Saturday. Will I be screwed? So Sarasota, obviously Saturday, you know, the storm will be well gone by that point. But yeah, Sarasota is, you know, the conditions we're expecting out here is tropical storm conditions. Now, we could have some gusts up to 75, which is like low-end hurricane strength gusts, what the winds could peak to for just a few seconds. But Saturday, yeah, on Saturday, the storm's going to be up in like Tennessee. So it'll be long gone overall. Let's see here. Susan says, what about Carabelli? Is it Carabelli, Florida? Could be wrong on that name. Once again, my name pronunciation is a little terrible here. So let's see here. Okay, so this area is going to probably get hit pretty good. Let's remove our cone for a minute. Let's get rid of that because it's kind of in the way there. So you, my friend, are under hurricane warning here. So we are talking sustained, so constant winds of around 60 to 80 miles an hour, and we're going to be gusting to right about 110. So yeah, definitely some very, very strong winds out there expected. You know, like we're going to have sustained winds, according to this, of right around hurricane or Category 1 strength, but gusts could get up to like Cat 3 strength out there. So, you know, please be careful. Absolutely, and like I said, if you're on the coast, I would honestly advise evacuating because, you know, the surges out there are going to be very strong. Let's hop over to NHC here real quickly. Yeah, I mean, out there towards the area for you're going to be right around. You're right between the 6 to 10 foot and the 10 to 15 foot. So you're you're right between some heavy surges. Regardless, it's going to be very heavy. So if you're along the coast out there, I would highly advise, you know, going inland if you can. Let's see. Good morning, Judy. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, be careful out there, Susan. Let's see here. Thanks for the response. No problem. Like I said, I'm here to help you guys out as much as possible. I know I'm kind of a one-man team here. You know, there's only so much I can do. But, you know, we're here for you. We want to keep you guys updated, keep you all weather aware. And like I said, as the storm continues to evolve and as we continue to, you know, track this thing, we're going to keep you all updated, okay? So if you guys could do me a favor, leave a like, subscribe. Be greatly appreciated. So, yeah, there you go. There's the latest track from the Hurricane Center, the 11 o'clock a.m. update. We do have ourselves Category 3 here. Right at, like I said, landfall is going to be sometime around like 8 o'clock, roughly around 8 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. So it's going to be an evening landfall. Sunset will have already commenced and all that. So, you know, at that point in time, we're going to be sustained around 125. Like I mentioned, just 5 short from a Category 4. 130 or greater is Cat 4. We're going to be right at 125. We're going to be gusting, though, to 155, which is upper Category 4 strength gusts. So, yeah, definitely want to keep an eye out there for that. Hopefully people in Florida are taking this seriously. Hurricane is not to be played with. Absolutely. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a nasty storm. You know, especially along those coastal areas, man. You know, surges are going to be a big problem for you guys. Are we expecting storm surge on the Space Coast? So we are expecting a little bit of surges up on northeastern coastal Florida. However, out there about like Cape Canaveral and areas out there, Not necessarily. There will be some strong winds along the Space Coast, so out there by the Cape Canaveral. But we do have around 1 to 3 foot of storm surge towards like Jacksonville Beach. So basically like northeastern portions here of Florida. I think that's just shy of Daytona. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so that's that's just slightly north of Daytona there. But that does include like all of coastal Georgia here, as well as like portions of central and southern coastal South Carolina. So like, Hilton Head Island. Let's see what else included out there towards like, I don't think, Myrtle Beach is not in it, but like Charleston, South Carolina is. And of course like Savannah, Georgia, is included with that as well. So, let's see. How about Panama City? Thanks for you're very welcome, my friend. Like I said, we're here to help out as many people as we can. But Panama City, as of now, we got a tropical storm warning in effect. Latest information we're expecting, right around 25 to 35 mile an hour sustained winds, so constant winds of around 25 to 35. So, but we could be gusting up to right around 55 or so. And along the coast, we could see actually they upgraded surges out there from 1 to 3 to 2 to 4. So we are expecting a little bit higher surges now, just a tad upgrade. But other than that, not a whole lot has changed on the surge map other than that little area there. Making landfall as a Category 4. It is going to be an upper level Cat 3 or lower Cat 4 at landfall. It is. There is a good shot that this thing could be a Category 4 at landfall. Absolutely. Nothing really higher than that though. Let's see. A Martinez, thank you so much, dude, for the $2 super chat saying thank you so much. You've been a great resource. You're very welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for the 2, man. That's very sweet of you. I deeply appreciate that. Of course, like I said, that'll help go back into our channel, go back into our programs and stuff like that. So I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, let's go and hop on back up here to the Hurricane Center here. WPC rainfall. So here's the table, y'all. On the right hand side, you guys can see. And as we do get ourselves towards the landfall point here, we are seeing, like I said, a good potential of around 8 to 12 inches of rainfall. So we could be, getting rain up to, if not over a foot in some areas. Not to mention, 10 to 15 foot of storm surge along the coastline. So there's going to be a lot of water involved with the storm here. Then you notice, some of the heaviest rain, if not the heaviest rain out of the system is going to be up there towards like western North Carolina there. And we're going to be seeing a good, 12 to maybe 16 inches of rainfall out there. Certainly a lot of rain will be expected along those regions. And like we mentioned before, we actually do have a high risk for flooding. Which will bring up our flood potential. You can see that little pink area there. It's at least a 70% chance of flooding. So, yeah, it's going to bring a lot of concern for those areas. Not sure if I see my question. You answered, what should Sylvester, Georgia? Thanks for that. Just wondering if I should find shelter. Let's see here. Let me pull up that area. Once again. Here, let's go and hop y'all back over to this view. Let's see. Sylvester, Georgia. Okay, so yeah, you, my friend, you're in a hurricane warning. Yeah, I mean, we're talking a good, sustained of 60 to 80 mile an hour winds out there. We're going to be gusting around 95. Now, that's not only going to be a concern, like the winds, but also rainfall too. We're going to be seeing around 4 to 6 inches of rain with local higher amounts, like 6 to 8 potentially possible. So, yeah, look out for that, my friend. And, we'll continue to watch, depends on where the storm goes. We'll watch out for the tornado threat. As of now, eastern Georgia has the greatest concern for tornadoes. So we'll watch out for that. Seems like Cat 4 is looking more likely. It does. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm a little concerned about. What do I think about Rickman, Tennessee? Let's see here. Pull that up for you. Okay, so you, my friend, the storm will be a depression by the time it gets to you. So, the winds are going to be a lot weaker. You might notice a little bit of windy conditions, but Rainfall is going to be like one of your main things. 4 to 6 inches of rain is expected out there towards your region. Do I think that suggest shelter living in a mobile home? Yeah, I would not be in a mobile home with winds like up to that high. I mean, that's pretty heavy stuff. Absolutely. Like I said, 60 to 80 mile an hour winds with gusts up to 95. That's something you do not want to be in a trailer for. Absolutely not. Let's see here. Steve, man, coming in with a $25 super chat. Holy cow, man. Steve, thank you so much, dude. Saying thanks for what you're doing, even though I'm even close to seeing a single cloud, or you're probably not even close to seeing a single cloud from the storm. Steve, man, thank you so much, dude. That is really nice of you. That is very, very sweet. Big shout out goes to you, Steve. Thank you, man, for the 25. Wow. Thank you so much, dude. Like I said, you don't realize how much that helps me out. So thank you so much, man. Big shout out goes to you, Steve. Thank you. Let's see. Olivia says, thanks, man. I appreciate it. No problem. You're very, very welcome. And like I said, if there's anything else I can help you with, feel free to let me know. Like I said, we're here for you. How will this affect Disney World? So areas out by like Orlando, we do have tropical storm conditions expected. Obviously, we're not on the coast here, so it's not going to be that big of an issue. Orlando has seen worse, but we're going to be gusting up to like 50 miles an hour potentially. So like 25 to 35 sustained with gusts to right around 50 miles an hour. So plus around latest guidance from the Weather Prediction Center actually has us to, around 1 to 2 inches. Actually, Orlando is one of the areas that's not going to see as much rainfall as majority of other Florida, essentially. Let's see here. What do I think residents in Berkeley, South Carolina should do? Let me see here. Pull up Berkeley, South Carolina. Is it Berkeley County? That's I don't know if this is the right area, my friend, but it's kind of like East Central South Carolina towards like Monarch's Corner. That's where it brought me. 15 to 25 mile an hour winds with gusts up to 35. The winds aren't going to be as strong out here, but you could get a good amount of rainfall. It could maybe 2 to 4 inches. How much rain for Gatlinburg? You'll be seeing around 4 to 6 inches of rainfall out there by Gatlinburg. Is there a chance it shifts east again? The storm could wobble. It could still wobble a little bit, east or west, but I think the main area has been pinpointed, and that's the Big Bend. That's where we're expecting landfall. Let's see here. What about Port St. Lucie? Let's see here. Port St. Lucie. Okay, so we got a tropical storm warning here. 25 to 35 miles an hour with gusts up to 50 miles an hour expected. Along the coast, we're not expecting any surges out there. There is a possibility for surges, though, like on the northeastern side of Florida's coast, like Jacksonville Beach area. But for just look out for mostly some winds and about 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. But anyways, let's see. Thank you again for the morning update. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Earl Lewis, thank you so much, man, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that, dude. First time watching. I'm in Michigan, but I like to support those that are looking out for the public. Thanks. You're very, very welcome, Earl. Thank you, man, for the 10. That is really, really sweet of you, dude. Thank you so much, guys. Y'all definitely don't have to do all that. It's much appreciated. Thank you so much, Earl. Seriously, that is very, very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. Estimated time of arrival in Clearwater. So let's see here. Let's bring up our GFS real quickly. And we'll do southeast. So you'll probably start feeling the winds here. Yeah, like I said, remember, this is just an estimated time. You'll probably start feeling it early tomorrow morning. The winds will start to pick up along the coast there towards the Clearwater. But the worst of it's going to be like the afternoon, evening for tomorrow. Absolutely. Let's see here. How much is Apalachicola gonna be? So Apalachicola is gonna get hit pretty good. Matter of fact, landfall might even be near Apalachicola area. As of now, the forecast has you sustained of around, so the constant winds of around 70 to 90 miles an hour with gusts up to 120. So, yeah, obviously pretty intense out there. Honestly, would not be on the coast. I would completely evacuate if possible out there. And of course, the surges along that region here is going to be fairly high. Yeah, 6 to 10 foot overall. So, let's see here. Tabletop man, thank you for the $5. Appreciate it. Saying just cause. Let's see. Do I think North Carolina will see tropical storm watches or warnings? For your area, probably not. Probably not. But we'll see how things go. I don't think so. Oh, look at that. They actually increased. Look at that. They added the rest of Georgia. Pretty much all of Georgia is under some form of watches right now. Yeah, look at that. So we got those watches now carrying up into northern Georgia. Tropical storm watches there now. Whoa, gust to 75 even up there in northern Georgia? Holy cow. This thing's still going to be sustained around 60 with gusts up to 70 as we approach up into northern Georgia. That is, wow, dude. That is pretty crazy. But we'll see, tabletop. But for you, I don't think you'll get one. How big is the wind field? Pretty large. Here, let's show you. Hop y'all back over here to this view. There you go. So this, right at landfall, the wind field goes out pretty far. I mean, as we roll in for the landfall for the evening of tomorrow, oops, didn't mean to grab a sounding there. We're gonna feel the wind field, or the wind field's gonna be pretty far extended along the eastern coast of Florida to, South Carolina's coast, Georgia's coast, stuff like that. We're gonna feel it for quite a lot of areas here. Let's see, we're gonna hop on back over here. No problem. I just saw they extended the tropical storm watches up to Myrtle Beach. Yeah, they did. They did. Let's see here. Yeah, 15 to 25 with gusts up to 35. Honestly, that's below threshold. They probably did that for maybe swelling along the coastline. I don't know, man. That's interesting. But yeah, no, that's below tropical storm winds, actually. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it, man. Is Houston clear from any hurricane for the rest of the season? There's no way of saying, no way of knowing for the rest of the season because we still have a couple months and we can't really forecast that far out. So I can't tell you that. I hope so. Obviously, I don't want any hurricanes out there. But unfortunately, there's no way of knowing. We can only tell sometimes about a week in advance, if we're lucky. But, we still got a lot of the season to go through. We got the rest of this month, October, and then all through November. And then at the end of November, it's the end of hurricane season. So, I'm in New England. I have family in Northport. Oh, gotcha. Let me pull up Northport. Northport. Is this Alabama? Is this Northport, Alabama? Huh. Most of the models having it going more east. See, I've noticed actually here. Let's pull up the spaghetti models again. I've noticed that it actually has been moving a little bit west, not east. So right now, we're very, very tight grouped together. This is the 12 Zulu spaghetti models here. We're really tightly grouped towards, towards Apalachicola area. So more than likely, that's probably where the landfall is going to be nearby. It's probably going to be out there near like Apalachicola area. What's realistic rainfall totals for Atlanta? Atlanta's going to get a good amount of rain. As of now, WPC has us suggesting around 8 to 12 inches of rain out there. Yeah, you can see Atlanta's right in the middle of that orange, which on the map here you can see that's 8 to 12 inches of rain. So that's certainly a pretty good amount of rain out there. What we see in Briceville, Florida. Briceville, Florida. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, you're in a tropical storm warning. 20 to 30 mile an hour sustained winds, so constant winds. We're going to be gusting up to around 60 or so. Right around 60 or so. You're inland, so obviously there's not going to be any coastal problems for you because you're not on the coast. But coastal, like Jacksonville Beach, could see a good, 1 to 3 foot of storm surge out there too, on top of those winds. But then about 2 to 4 inches of rainfall is expected. Any estimate on the level of hurricane will be once it reaches Albany, Georgia? It'll probably be like lower Cat 2, maybe upper Cat 1 by the time we get there. Roughly. Let's see here. Well, this track to Tallahassee. Yeah, so Tallahassee is going to be in an area where we need to watch closely. Matter of fact, the core or the eye of the storm could theoretically go over Tallahassee because the landfall is expecting near that region there. Sustained winds in Tallahassee could be 85 to 105 miles an hour with gusts up to 125 out there. So, it's going to be pretty strong winds out there towards Tallahassee, absolutely. Plus, Tallahassee could see anywhere from 6 to 8 or locally higher amount of rainfall. So we'll see. I'm starting to notice those winds are picking up too already. Here, let's bring this radar over to you guys. Look at that. That big wind barb's my weather station, but those winds are already starting to pick up across Florida here. We're already starting to feel it. Jacksonville or Jacksonville Beach worse. So they'll feel relatively the same between Jacksonville and Jacksonville Beach, but Jacksonville Beach will have a surge concern. While Jacksonville won't, because Jacksonville's not right on. I mean, obviously there's inlets here to Jacksonville, but the beach is where some of the more impacts are going to be. Potentially like 1 to 3 foot above sea level there. Let's see here. Did we already do Northport? Northport, Alabama. I think that was Northport. Could be wrong. But yeah, this area is not going to see much of anything, from the system. Maybe a little bit of rain, but that's about it. Worst part of the hurricanes in the eye wall, wind the strongest. Yeah, especially the eastern eye wall there too. That's where the heaviest are. All right, everybody. Well, I'm probably going to roll off here soon. We've been live for 2 hours. I'm going to get some lunch. I'm getting a little hungry. If you guys haven't already, please do me a solid. Consider leaving a like and subscribing. Most importantly, sharing this with your friends, family. Put it on your Facebook wall. Put it on your Twitter, whatever. Like I said, just help us distribute this as you can. And then tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. It'll be much appreciated, and we'll help out a lot of people by doing that. But we'll be back later on this afternoon for an afternoon update here, and then we'll do another live stream probably in the evening to prepare for the storm. And then after that, then the next storm will probably be for coverage, or the next live stream will be for either a late update or early update tomorrow or coverage. But we have a lot of updates still to come. So anyways, my friends, well, that's going to wrap it up for now. Once again, thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. We'll catch you all later on today. Like I said, we'll do an afternoon update at some point. And alrighty, everybody, thanks for joining. You guys take care. Once again, leave a like, subscribe on your way out. Be much appreciated. Alrighty, guys, y'all take care, and we'll see ya in the next one. See you later, guys. Catch y'all later on. Be safe and be prepared.